and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Hi, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Today, Brad, you want to talk about lateral pelvic tilt. You know, what is it? And some of the cause. Oh, I guess that's going to be another video.
Yeah,
right?
it's going to be the next video. Yeah, we're going to, what is a pelvic tilt? What is a pelvis? I had some viewers comment that they're interested in on a video like this, so we're going to satisfy
We're going to put on our teacher hats.
You bet.
So
Let's
bring
get...
in, you want to call him Leopold. It's Napoleon Bonaparte.
Okay, whatever
right.
we call him. He's wonderful for us. We're going to look at the pelvis, Bob. What is the pelvis?
Sure.
Go ahead, face that way, Bob. Show them your pelvis. Yeah, be good about it. Be nice. It's a family show. There we go. So the bones right here are the pelvis, okay? And the hips are actually down here, and the hip joint it's separate from the pelvis, but I think some people get things mixed up between the hips and the pelvis, so we're going to really show the difference. These are the hip joints. This is the pelvis, which is part of the hip joint. Okay, so let's look at one side of the pelvis here, and let's look at that bone and talk about it just a little bit. So, what were you going to do with that stick, Bob?
Well, I was going to show this is a normal pelvis that's level.
That's a good, yeah.
You know, and a lateral pelvic tilt, I don't know, do you want to jump into that?
Sure, you bet.
Yeah, would be as if one pelvis would be higher, or one of the innominate bones
Right.
Would be a little higher.
Exactly.
So this would be level on a normal person. A lateral pelvic tilt, one side would be higher.
Right. There's a posterior and the anterior pelvic tilt, which happens from a different angle.
Right, that's this and this.
Right.
But this is a lateral.
Right,
Yeah.
yep, that's the difference between those two. Now, let's look at this pelvis bone,
Okay.
because what is it? And let's break it down. So if we pull that off, just like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Take a little bit of strength.
So here we go. I'm going to keep the hip joint in there, just because I can't get it out without breaking this model. This part right here looks like a paddle. That's called the ilium, okay? Now, this part down here, where you sit on, actually when you sit on a hard surface, you feel that bone, that's called the slang term is the sit bone, but it's actually called the ischium, okay? And then in the front, there's a little bone right here, and that's called the pubic bone. And they're all fused together into one bone, okay? And you know what the medical term for this bone is called?
I'm going to hear it. Right
Innominate.
now. That's what I just said, innominate bone before.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed it. You know what that means in Latin?
No, I do not know what it means in
It
Latin.
means no name.
Really?
Yeah. Can you imagine, you know, these people back in Greece or wherever they spoke Latin, they got this bone and they can't figure out what they call it, so they just called it no name.
That's funny.
So that's the
Well,
truth.
we are just a fountain of knowledge
You
here.
better believe it.
Okay.
So, the lateral pelvic tilt. How are we going to find this on a real person? You can look at someone and, you know, maybe if they have their swimming suit on, you might be able to see it, okay?
If their belt looks uneven.
Exactly. But you got the belt might be uneven.
The belt, right, exactly.
Right. So what we do as therapists, we use our hands and we get in there with a visual and a palpable or feeling sensation of what it is. So we're going to visualize. I'm going to get in there. Right there is his ilium bones. I'm going to push in. Does that hurt, Bob?
Yep.
I wouldn't care if it did anyway. No, you push in, it usually doesn't hurt. It usually tickles if anything. I don't know if the shirt's in the way there. Good. Now, I'll let you guys be the judge. Does Bob have a pelvic tilt? Why don't you tilt on purpose, Bob? And you may see the difference there. Well, this is kind of fun. I'm peekabooing behind you, Bob.
Here. I'll put the board down.
Yep.
So if somebody has a leg that's longer than one leg that's longer than the other, which is often the cause of a pelvic tilt, one of the reasons,
Yep.
but
There we go.
now you should be able to see this hand should be higher.
There you go. Okay. Now, I think probably the most accurate way to do it is if someone's in weight bearing and they take an x-ray and you can see the bones, put it up against a grid and measure it. A little more scientific. It's really not, you're not going to do that.
Yeah,
in
it's not necessary, to be honest with you. This will work fine.
Exactly.
So we're going to go ahead, at the end of this video, it's going to link to this next video, which is going to show the causes of lateral pelvic tilt.
If you're wondering if you have it, why do you have it? And there's a number of different reasons why you could have it. So link up to that and we'll show you.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Before midnight tonight.